Welcome to the MCDFNL Footy Show, our first finals edition for season 2013. Very exciting time to be up and about, I can tell you, with some big matches coming up in the MCDFNL this weekend. Firstly, let's introduce the gentleman joining me to my left. Firstly, Sam Gower. Sammy, welcome.
Thanks, mate. Good to be here.
Good to have you back again. Scott Carey will be in later on in the show, so nothing out of you this week, please. He wasn't happy with your comments from last week.
What a silk.
And joining us also from the Lexington Football Club, Matthew Brown. Brownie, welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on your season, mate. 76 goals for the year. Not a bad season to date.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Been getting a few.
Although, having said that, the season's really only just begun for you boys. Let's be completely honest.
Yeah, exactly right. Obviously fallen a bit short the last 2 years. And prior to that in the Lexington League, the guys made the grand final. So, yeah, keen to sort of rectify that and get a couple of wins this year.
We'll talk more about what's happening going forward for your boys afterwards, but we're going to have a look at last week's games first, starting with the game that you not only played in, but kicked 10 goals in as well, so a reasonable day at the office. Lexington 25-15, 165, defeating Trentham 5-2-32. As we said, Matthew Brown 10 goals for the Tigers on the weekend. 4 to Mark Ferguson, 3 to Robbie Moseby, and 2 to Damon Aspland with multiples for the Tigers. All singles for Trentham: Hoffman, Drew, Canfield, Whitehouse and Cole. Better players for Lexington: Aspland, Chester, Brown, Hind, Polton and Fisher. And for Trentham, their better players: Whelan, Scoble, Hoffman, Drew, Canfield and Smith. Bit stiff, mate. 10 goals, only third best. Damon Aspland and Danny Chester must have good days.
Yeah, probably most of those 10 came from those two guys. So, happy to slide in there at third.
Started well, kept Trentham to just the 1 goal in the first half. Was that a real focus point for Paul Phillips before the game? You did it last week against Malden as well. Really started the game out well. Is that something that he's really instructing you guys to do?
Yeah, it is. I think our backline's probably been our strength all season, to be honest. We've been able to keep the back six pretty much a similar sort of blokes each week. Cross fingers we don't have any injuries through finals, but yeah, it's they've been our strength all year. We haven't been kicking really big scores, but the backline's been fantastic. Yeah.
Speaking of which, nice to see M Jennings not in the goal kickers list this week and just staying where he needs to be in the back line.
Tucked him away in the back 50 this week, and yeah, to his credit, he actually stayed there for once.
How do you approach a game against, no disrespect to Trentham, but how do you approach a game against a team that's at the lower end of the ladder, knowing that you're going to play finals the next week and that you're shooting to play a game against someone like Carisbrook who's won 312 games straight or whatever it is?
Yeah, I suppose on the weekend a big focus for us was sticking to the structures. I know it's cliche, but we probably have been sort of going away a bit from how we wanted to be playing our footy the last few weeks, particularly as Samuel will attest, we were pretty atrocious out at Natty, so it's good the last couple of weeks against Malden and Trentham that not only are we getting wins, but we're getting big wins, and yeah, we've hopefully taken some good form into the finals.
Like you said before, Brownie, the last couple of years you've probably fallen short when you've had that tag of premiership favourites. Do you think this year maybe you're probably not favourites, so do you think that'll help this year without that pressure on you?
Yeah, I think, especially as one of the senior players, that obviously the few of us there are sort of quite happy not to have that tag as the team to beat. It's nice to be the hunter rather than the hunted. Obviously this week against Carisbrook, with a bit of a nothing to lose approach, and yeah, who knows, finals are a funny game and we'll see how we go.
Very good.
You mentioned that you've kicked a lot of goals yourself this year, but Robbie Moseby's chimed in as well and ended up in the top 10 goal kickers for the league as well, and to have someone like him at your feet getting the front and square footy and kicking roving goals must be a huge bonus for yourself and for the rest of the team.
Yeah, for sure. Moz has been great this year. We obviously lost the two Robbins boys last year, and Jay was sort of my side kick. He'd play deep forward pocket, so yeah, we needed to sort of find someone else to play that role. And Moz is, yeah, he's probably exceeded what we expected. He's obviously got a lot of ability, but and his biggest strength for his size is probably his overhead marking and his one-on-one work. So not only can he crumb, but yeah, he's fantastic down there in a marking role.
We'll come back and look at the game this week, and we'll try and throw a few of your teammates under the bus as well after we have a look at the rest of these games. Newstead 11-8-74, good win by the Setters, up against Natty 9-14-68, 3-0 in the last quarter, getting Newstead over the line. Is this a misprint? Mark Ramsey, 6 goals. Isn't he one of those blokes that sits up the back and just tries to take hangers on everyone from full back? He's kicked 6. What's going on?
No, he had a bit of a day out, the old Rambo up forward. Might be carrying a bit of an injury, but it didn't show. He kicked 6 and did a very good job.
He did indeed. Tommy Rees also kicking 2 goals for Newstead and finally pulling his finger out. For Natty, Zach Perez kicks 4 goals and then all singles after that for the Swans. Best for Newstead, Connor, Christmas, Park, Ramsey, Bott and Colviner. And for Natty Biella, but they're better players. Gifford, Gracco, Mortlock, Ross, Perez and Miles. Talk to us a little bit about this game, Sammy, because we mentioned Mark Ramsey going forward. We also saw Daniel Christmas going back, which I suppose is a bit of a strange move. Goal-kicking title on the line, but also in another way, a really, really good move because it gives Ross Smith a look at him going back, knowing that if he needs it in a plan B in a pinch in the final, he's got that option there.
And yeah, you can swing Ramsey forward. It was a bit strange to see Christmas down back for a start, but I think it probably threw Natty a little bit. I think they're probably preparing for Christmas to be up forward. Natty obviously didn't kick very straight, 9 goals, 14. If they had kicked a bit straighter, we might have seen a different result. Right.
Yeah, Natty's hoping their own personal Christmas is in about 4 weeks' time if they can get through a pretty big run of games going forward. You like that one out there? Navarre taking on Avoca on the weekend. This game at the Avoca Public Park and a good win by Navarre, 12-11-83. Defeating Avoca 7-3-45. Cody Driscoll kicked 3 goals for Navarre, 2 to Nick Murphy and Zane Bigmore. For Avoca, Murray Bond and Adrian Pilgrim kicked 2 goals each. Best for Navarre, Driscoll, Murphy, Folks, Lee, Harrington and Cody Driscoll. And for Avoca, Kay, Nankerville, Wiltshire, Pilgrim, Dukes and Paulson. Matty, a couple of teams that you probably would have had a reasonably close look at during the season. Obviously, Navarre, grand finalist, very good side, been running around that second, third spot on the ladder all year. And Avoca kind of in a similar position to you boys where they were, I suppose, fighting for a spot at the end and might be a team that you come up against next week.
Yeah, look, obviously we played Navarre earlier in the year and they, to be honest, they gave us a fair touch-up. It was sort of game over at quarter time.
Yeah, I was at that one.
Yeah, so I was pretty impressed with Navarre, obviously. Avoca have got some really good match-winning players. Obviously, Murray Bond, Pilgrim's still a good player, Lockie Edwards is a gun, so yeah, these sorts of players you've really got to watch, and yeah, I think they're definitely capable of winning a final or two as well.
I remember that Navarre-Lexington game because if memory serves me correctly, you tried to fight half of the Navarre side in the third quarter.
No, that doesn't sound like me at all.
Definitely happened. I've got it on tape. Maldon taking on Campbell's Creek on the weekend, and this was a huge, huge game for Maldon. They got the result they were after. 20 goals, 129, defeating Campbell's Creek 10-13-73. More important for the Bombers, there was another result that fell in their favour, and they are going to play finals this year. Sean Birchall and Kyle Winstanley, 4 goals each. 3 to Jake Elliott, 2 to Rourke, Chaffey Jones, Hayden Kelly, and Matty Kyle. For Campbell's Creek, Chris Stone kicked 3, James Berzicott kicked 2 as well. Best players for Maldon, Birchall, Elliott, Conway, Horn, Kelly, and Birchall. For Campbell's Creek, Smith, Murray, Prendergast, Williams, O'Toole and Hughes. It's hard to draw a line through Maldon at the moment, Sammy. They're in the finals now. They're going to play Harcourt. They'll play a competitive game, but I watched the game the week before against Lexington and they didn't look like they were going very well at all. They'd struggled a bit towards the end of the year, but they're up and about at the right time. They've got that last round win. They've had a good, solid win, a confidence booster as well, which is exactly what you want going into the finals after a bit of a lapse of form.
Yeah, I think Maldon's probably one of those sides that's depends which Maldon turns up on the day. As you mentioned against Lexington, not real flash, but pretty impressive on the weekend. So it could be interesting to see which side turns up come finals time. You
saw Maldon just over a week ago, Matty. How did you see them on that day? Because I was watching from the sidelines and it looked like you guys were all over them and they didn't really come to play.
Yeah, look, I suppose with Maldon, if you can get them on the big ground, they're obviously used to playing their fairly small ground.
Yep.
So key for us was to try and get them on the spread. It was pretty tricky conditions, but yeah, look, as you say, we probably dominated the game, but I think it's probably the best footy we've played for the year. So yeah, I still think that they can't be discounted and they could be capable on their day.
And they could be indeed. They're going to have a tough assignment this week though because they play a Harcourt side that again have been a bit up and down in the last couple of weeks, but they were definitely up on the weekend, ending Talbot's season 14-11-95 to Talbot 4-5-29. Kyle McLean kicked 4 for Harcourt, Matt Geary kicked 3, Michael Dwyer and Scotty Newton 2 each for the Lions. Trent Barris the only multiple on the weekend for Talbot with 2 goals. Best for Harcourt, Newton, Chaplin, Mitchell, Adlington, McLean and Davis. And the better players for the Hawks, Clark, Barris, Solomon, Whiteman, Gilmore and Wise. Disappointing end of the season, you'd think, for Talbot here, Sammy. They had so much to gain going into this game, and really after half-time, they let Harcourt dominate them.
Yeah, like we said last week, Toll would have been playing probably their best footy over the last few weeks when they've had their backs to the wall and they know that final spot's on the line, but absolutely decimated by Harcourt on the weekend, and I reckon the Lions could be a bit of a danger come finals time.
They could indeed. They've snuck into 5th spot. We'll go through their schedule in a minute. They've got a game on Princess Park next week as well, so they'll be pretty happy with that. As will another team that finished the season in pretty ominous fashion, I reckon. And I know you're looking very closely at this result, Matthew Brown, because you play Carisbrook this week in a final. And Carisbrook, 35-22, 232, defeated Denali 4-goal, 6-30. Step 1 of the phase for Carisbrook, the home and away season, is out of the way. They got through that unblemished. Now for the real stuff for Carisbrook. Nathan Wright, 12 goals on the weekend. Get around Big Nath, that 12, and Chris was playing in the back line. Congratulations, Nathan Wright. You're the leading goal kicker for 2013 for the MCDFNL.
Amazing.
He's done well, the big fella.
Amazing man.
Jackson Bowen, 6 goals as well, which I reckon, and we'll discuss this, is probably just as important as Nath getting amongst the goals as well. Trav Cornwall 4, Matthew Bilton 3, Nick Wright, Marcus Emmett and Brady Neal, all 2 goals on the weekend for Brook. All singles for Denali. Better players for Carisbrook: Bowen, Kick, Bilton, Furness, Nathan Wright and Travis Cornwall. If you were 3rd best player kicking 10, Nate's 5th best player kicking 12.
Yeah,
something's going on over there.
A bit stiff, I would have thought.
And for Denali, their better players: Ballinger, Moffalesi, Gordois, Grant, Thompson and Townsend. You look at a result like this, knowing that you've got to play Carisbrook next week, does it worry you a little bit?
Oh, look, obviously they're the premiership favourites. You don't go through a year undefeated if you're no good. They're obviously a very, very good team. They're probably another team that gave us a bit of a lesson as to where we need to get to. I think the key with Brook is just so many avenues to goal.
Yeah.
Even if you do hold Nath fairly well, obviously Jacko Bowen's a gun, and even obviously if Bilton goes forward, he's a very hard matchup through the middle and forward. So yeah, it's going to be a tough task, but we'll give it a crack.
Jacko Bowen was one I wanted to mention as well, Sammy, because he's just that important. Him kicking 6 goals on the weekend, you can't understate how big that is, getting him into form going into the finals, because if Nathan Wright does have an off day, they've still got Jackson Bowen as a big target up forward that can kick goals, and if he's in form, it's look out everyone.
Yeah, like Brownie and you said, if you shut down Nath, you've still got to shut down Jacko, you've got to shut down Trav Cornwall, who sort of sneaks under the radar a little bit. But
I'll tell you, if he can work his way back into the side.
Yeah, he might not get a game.
Might not get a game, true.
And yeah, like Brownie said, Matty Bilton, Nick Wright, so many avenues to goal, they just look unstoppable.
They are scary, but you're going to have to try and stop them on the weekend, Brownie, but we'll discuss that in a minute, because Royal Park, good win to end their season. They're 2 from 2 in the local derbies this year, and they will take the Maryborough bragging rights. 17-11-113 against Maryborough Rovers, 14-4-88. Pretty good standard game by the looks of it. 31 goals kicked on the day, and a really good display of footy at Jubilee Park. Zach Stewart, 6 goals for Royal Park. Jib Iglesias, 4 goals, and 2 each to Blake and Tack. Corey Taylor, 4 goals for the Rovers. Kicked 9 goals since he come on this show in 2 weeks. It's a pretty good omen for blokes that appear on the show. So I reckon you're in the van this week, Matty, but we'll discuss that later on. Better players for Royal Park: Iglesias, McLean, McKay, Stewart, Anderson and Latimer. And for the Rovers, their better players: Ritchie, Styles, Taylor, Moschetti, Williams and Knights. Really important win by the Royal Park boys, Sammy. We know this is one that both teams had set themselves for a long way out, and pretty good standard of footy, and a really good win by Royal Park. After re-announcing Greg Stewart as their coach a couple of weeks ago, they would have torn his contract up if he had lost this.
Yeah, look, Royal Park aren't playing finals, but that gives them momentum going into next year. It gives them another win, and I think they'll be pretty happy with that. And congratulations to Jib Iglesias, 150 games for the Tigers on the weekend.
Good on you, Jib, and you're playing very nice football as well, but I suppose we've had a look at that. We'll have one last look at the ladder for the season. Carisbrook finished on top of the ladder, as we can see, 16 games, 16 wins, percentage of 441.9. That's phenomenal no matter which way you try and spin it. Navarre finished in second with 13 wins. Newstead in third with 14 wins. Lexington in fourth, 11 wins and a percentage of 176. Fifth behind them on percentage was Harcourt. They were 70% behind, so it was probably never realistic. Matched them for wins, but the percentage wasn't there. Sixth, Natty with 10 wins and probably dropped out of that double chance position with that loss on the weekend. Avoca in seventh with 9 wins. Malden finished in eighth, 8 wins, percentage of 89.5. Talbot ninth, 8 wins, percentage of 78.4, so poor percentage costing the Hawks in the end. Royal Park move up to 10th with their win on the weekend. Campbell's Creek 11th, Denali 12th, Trentham 13th, and the Maryborough Rovers 14th with just the one win. Carisbrook v Lexington this week, Matthew Brown. How do you stop the seemingly unstoppable?
Yeah, well, it's as I said earlier, it's going to be a tough task for our guys. Obviously, the midfield battle, as is the case most weeks, is probably where it's going to be won and lost. Bilton's the obvious one. We'll no doubt have a run with roll with him, and obviously they've got some fairly sizey wingman flanker types.
Yep.
Jake Bucknell always tends to have a field day against us. I think he pencils that in the calendar each year, so
Yeah.
we'll have to watch him. But yeah, other than that, I think, as I said, we've got nothing to lose. We're not expected to win, so that works in our favour, and we'll definitely have a crack, and that's the beauty of us this year. We've just got a bunch of blokes that are just keen to get out there and give it a go.
Well, look at your defensive end. Obviously, Michael Jennings has got a big job. Will we start on right or Bowen? Which way do you reckon Birdie's thinking at this stage?
Yeah, I think Birdie's keen for him to start on righty.
Yep.
Just obviously he's the leading goal kicker in the league, so you put your best backman on the best opposition's best forward in my eyes, and probably in Birdie's eyes as well. I think Geordie Phelan's probably got the tank and the agility to go with Bowen, but yeah, as I said,
I was going to ask about that because Geordie's so good at setting up off half back for you.
Yeah.
Do you kind of lose him a little bit if you're playing him in a negating role and someone like that, and you're kind of stifling his creativity a little bit?
Yeah. I guess the beauty with Geordie is he tends to sort of hold his creativity even if he does have a specific role.
Yep.
Some of his better games this year have been when he's locked down a fairly dangerous opposition forward, so he's good like that. He's had a terrific year really, so hopefully we can get a bit more out of him in the finals.
And you're expecting Timmy Heenan to probably wander down next to you on the weekend?
Yeah, I'd say Timmy will come down next to me, so yeah, no, we had a pretty good battle. He would have got the chocolates the last time we played him at Lexington, so hopefully I can turn the tables and get a few on him.
Going back to that midfield battle, who do you put on Matty Bilton, and how do you stop him?
Yeah, we've obviously had a few discussions already. We've got probably through the middle, it'll be a mix of blokes, and when he goes forward, we might have a specific matchup for him if he sneaks inside 50, but I'll probably just leave that alone as to who it'll be.
Good work.
You're not going to roll the dice and send Mick Jennings forward?
I doubt it very much.
Couple of things, please, Matthew. Now, we've noticed that the right eye of yours is a little bit coloured and swollen over a bit. What happened there?
Nothing in it really. Just the Trentham opponent just trying to sort of fist the ball and got my head instead.
Tends to happen sometimes when you're playing forward as well. Now, talk to us about your coach, Paul Phillips. He's a great man, we know that, but talk to us a little bit about his quarter time and three-quarter time speeches, because we've had him on the show a couple of times this year, and to be honest, he hasn't given us a great deal. He's just played a very, very straight bat and some one-word answers. What's the man like with his oratory at the break?
Look, he is a quiet man. He's called Birdie because of his physique and his appearance, but I think it could also be he's a fairly quiet character. But his coaching has been fantastic. He's really been good for the club. And yeah, he's improved in leaps and bounds as the years worn on.
Mate, let's transport ourselves forward 4 weeks, or 4 weeks and 3 days, or whatever it is. I'm standing out in the middle of Princes Park. I've just announced Lexington as the 2013 Premiers. Who is your tip for the 3-2-1 that following night and in the following days?
Well, Jensra will definitely be in there. He'll be in the votes for sure. I can't say myself, but I'd probably sneak in there as well.
Good work. I like a man with honesty.
But yeah, we've got some quiet achievers sort of on the party scene. So
Very good.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting night, that's for sure.
And how do the A-grade football, the senior footballs and the A-grade netballers mix? Because some very competitive sides as well. We know that they're a very tight-knit club in particular. How do you find that relationship?
Yeah, there's a lot of the senior footy players have got partners or wives or girlfriends playing in the netball, and
Yep.
to be honest, it's a bit of a pain that they've had bragging rights for however many years. The netballers have been very successful, which is a credit to them, and hopefully they can give it a shake again this year. But yeah, it'd be nice for us to have a bit of silverware in the senior football. The twos got it last year, so hopefully the seniors this year.
Well, it's going to be a tough task this weekend, but we wish you the best of luck with it, Matty. Thanks for coming in and joining us, and being so forthright and honest going into what is such a big game this week. It's a breath of fresh air. Thanks for coming in.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Not a problem at all. Matthew Brown from the Lexington Football Club. We're going to take a break because we're going to talk some junior football in a moment, Sam Gowers. We're going to get the Junior Development Officer of the MCDFNL, Brandon Weatherson, in to have a chat to us about junior footy and also just find out how his hamstring is after that unfortunate incident that we saw a couple of weeks ago out at Navarre. So we'll come back right after this with Brandon Weatherson. Welcome back to the MCDFNL Footy Show. Time to talk junior footy, and joining us to do so, the Junior Football Development Officer from the MCDFNL, and of course, Carisbrook legend, as he keeps telling us every week, Brendan Weatherson. Weather, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks, Shawnee. Thanks, Sammy.
First things first, the whole footy world wants to know, how's the hamstring?
It's sensational. I think you played it up, especially in the
Hugely.
Advocate last week. So
Hugely.
I got quite a bit of a talking to by a few clubs
Yep,
last
Sammy's
week.
got that. We'll chuck it up on the screen now. A couple of different photos of Weather looking like he's just been shot.
Felt like I was shot too. The Navarre Grandstand, I think I had a sniper in it.
Yeah, so that's the season done.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just there to fill in for a game, and
Yep.
Unfortunately, a great chase down the wing in front of the grandstand just fell short.
I'm disappointed, mate. The beard's gone too. We were talking the beard up before as well. It had some Grizzly Adams-like tendencies to it, but you've just gone and lopped it off.
Yeah, no, it needed to go. It was pretty ugly. I think there was a lot of ranger in it, which is, the parents weren't happy, and the footy club thought that I was bringing the club into disrepute, so it wasn't good.
Didn't get too many autograph requests, mate. Just the front of the Advocate. Not too often reserves players get on there, but
No, that's right. A few people said that what's the District League coming to having me on the front cover, but no, I went out to Talbot to watch Talbot and Rovers, and a few of the boys pulled me up, so yeah, a bit embarrassing, but I'll take it.
The reason we got it on there was the great CSA logo that Jake Tiedeman's showing on the front page. So
Sensational
if anybody
sponsor.
asks, we're just helping the sponsors out. That's
right,
all it is.
sensational sponsor.
Now, mate, let's talk serious for a minute, because junior footy has been thriving throughout the MCDFNL this year. Starting with the introduction to the under-12s comp, talk to us a little bit about how that came about and how that's gone throughout the year.
Well, obviously at the start of the year it was sad news with the Midlands District League folding, but in a sense it was pretty good for us because we could get a new junior grade of football up. The under-12s, it was pretty rushed, probably had 3 weeks to get a fixture, but by all reports it's going really well, and the kids can't wait to play finals this week.
It's fantastic with the 12s getting up and seeing all the little kids run around, and it's caused some clubs, obviously clubs that were with the Midlands juniors as well. It's caused some junior and senior clubs to come together and fuse together as well, which can only be helpful for the clubs in our league.
Absolutely, I know Campbell's Creek have come a lot closer together since that. Their under-12s are thriving at the moment. They're on top of the ladder, going great guns. I know even at Carisbrook, Royal Park were a chance to get them up at the start of the year. That's a good lead into next year. So, yeah, I think it's been a great initiative by the league, and the clubs have got on board. And 7 or 8 teams this year, no doubt, probably can get to 10 next year, and we'll see how it goes. But it's going really well.
And look, it shows how strong the junior competition is when we look at our interleague programs as well. Our under-14s and under-16s came to the Ballarat District Junior Carnival this year and took no favours, took no names, just went out there and kicked the bum. They were fantastic.
Yeah, I think this league gets a lot of flack for its junior footy and how the last few years we've dropped off a little bit, but I think the last 2 years we've come back a little bit, and interleague level the 14s have generally been strong. They've won, I think, the last 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
The under-16s never got near Central Highlands, and this year just absolutely wiped the floor, so it was fantastic. Very well coached by Dan Brady.
Some really good kids coming through at under-16 level, and I suppose it showed with the calibre of kids we were able to take to Cairns this year as part of the AFL Goldfield squad. Obviously, we took 24 kids up, 12 from the Ballarat League, 6 from our league and 6 from the Riddle League. A lot of people were worried initially about how the MCDFNL kids coming from the supposed lower grade would stand up, but each and every one of them held their own.
Yeah, exactly right. I know a lot of people were a little bit worried taking the 3 groups up that we'd maybe be a class less than the Riddle and Ballarat League, but Tommy Horn shown day one, getting best on ground up in Cairns, that we had nothing to worry about. Aaron Slorich was fantastic on the second day, and all the boys contributed, which was fantastic, and they didn't look out of sorts at all, so it was really
Yourself,
good.
mate, how'd you go up there? Just a nice little junket up in Cairns for a week?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was a first plane trip. Me and Tommy Horn sat next to each other on the plane, and there was a fair bit of sweat coming off both of us, but no, it was really good, really enjoyed it. The boys loved it, and it was great from a footy sense, but it was also really good from a life sense. A lot of them haven't been up there, may never get the chance to go again, so it was a real culture shock up there. Heat and sort of the people up there are a little bit different to down here, but no, it was really good. They were really friendly, and yeah, it was a fantastic initiative.
Stuff.
this week on the show, mate, we're talking finals, and you're our juniors expert, so we're going to run you through each grade, and you can tell us who you like.
Yep. Apart from Carisbrook, of course.
Yeah.
We'll give the allegiances early. As we know, Weather's a Carisbrook man. He coaches the under-15s, so we'll get that out there early before you give your predictions.
Yeah, so take Carisbrook out of the equation, under-12s.
Yeah, the under-12s, Campbell's Creek have, I don't think they've lost a game this year, and I've seen a few games that they've played in, and I think they'd be red hot favourites to take out the under 12s, and they deserve so.
They're the basically what Campbell's Creek in the 12s are doing the same thing as Carisbrook are doing in the seniors. To give you an idea, they are flogging everybody at the moment.
Yeah, they are. They're a good side.
Under 15s, who do we like, mate?
Taking Carisbrook out of the equation, I think Trentham are very well coached by Hoffy over there, and they've got some really good players that played very well at interleague level. Callum Wellings, Robbie Byrne. So I think Trentham are definitely amongst it. Navarre finished third. They've got to be a chance of always being strong in the juniors, and I think Avoca round out the top four, and I think them four sides on any day could beat each other, so it should be exciting.
Including Carisbrook in that top four as well.
Exactly right, yep.
And under 17s, who's
17s, I think Denali would have to be favourites at this stage, probably a close second Newstead.
Yep.
Both them sides are playing pretty good footy, but as I said, you can't count out Navarre. Tim Bibby and Corey Hope up there. They're pretty good, pretty well coached, and I'd say them three sides are probably the best bunch, and then there's a few underneath that.
Carisbrook ticking along nicely in the under 17s as well, we've got to say.
No, Denali absolutely spanked us on the weekend, and I think Denali, Newstead and Navarre are clearly the best three.
Yep.
Probably Carisbrook, Campbell's Creek and Malden would be amongst the next run.
Mate, talk to us about junior development going forward. You've just started up an Auskick clinic at the Maryborough Education Centre as well. How's that been going?
Yeah, fantastic. We've had some really good numbers in the kids. We had about 20 registrations, and there's a after-school program at MEC also, so we've managed to capture 5 or 6 kids that haven't been registered but have just come along for a kick and started to get some interest. We've got some different personalities amongst the group, but they're all good kids and they're all enjoying it. Start week 6 this Friday, and we'll see how it goes, but hopefully a few of them can make their way out into the district.
And have we got any early indications of how we're looking for 2014 with 17s, 15s, 12s and maybe even 10s?
Yeah, we had a meeting last week, and most sides re-indicated that they'd be fielding under 15s and 17s at least next season. Hopefully we get the Lextons and Rovers on board with a team or two there.
Mm-hmm.
And at under 12 level, I think 7 teams at the start of the year. Hopefully we get that around 10. I know a lot of the Maryborough sides, Royal Park and Rovers, are really keen to get on board.
Yep.
So, look, all things going well, I think next year we'll have more junior sides again, which will be good.
How do we accommodate that growth, though? Because as we know, there's only so many grounds. We're starting games at 9 o'clock on a Saturday as it is. If we bring in under 10s in or more under 12 sides, are we going to be able to fit them in?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I know Ballarat and Bendigo play their juniors on a Sunday. The start of the year when the under 12 comp did come up, there was talk, do we play it on a Friday night, do we play it on a Sunday, or do we keep it in line with the seniors? So there'll be questions that will have to be answered once the teams are made up. Hopefully that's next year.
Yeah, they will indeed. Fantastic signs coming through for our junior development. Weather, thanks for joining us today, mate.
No worries, thanks
Hope
very
everything's
much.
all right and we can see you on the field in the finals.
That won't be happening.
At least as runner or something. We need something to pay you out of our come final, so we'll find something.
I'll do the running, although I look good in hot pink as a water boy.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. That just about does us for weather this week, Sammy. It's time to talk netball in a minute. We're going to replace weather with another just as handsome man in MCDFNL operations manager Scotty Carey. We're going to talk netball. We're going to talk next week's games. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Brandon Weatherson, MCDFNL Junior Development Officer, supposed gunful forward at Carisbrook, and owner of one of the worst beards in MCDFNL history. Time to talk netball, boys. And Sammy, we've dragged an extremely special guest in to help us with this.
We have his back.
He is indeed the MCD operations manager, even Scott Carey. Welcome back, mate.
Thanks, Sean. Good to be back.
Good to have you back on. The audience missed you last week.
Yeah, I'm sure they did, but back for the exciting time of the year, mate. Should be a lot of fun.
Proven performer at finals time, mate, so we thought we'd get you in now.
Yeah, I haven't won a flag before, so I'm probably going better than Sammy, I reckon.
Everyone's going better than Sammy. Let's have a look at last week's games, round 16. Natty Bialaba taking on Newstead, and good win by the Swans, 38-36 against the Newstead side that are going to push a few come finals time, I reckon. Navarre 65 defeating Avoca 35. Malden 66 defeating Campbell's Creek 11. Harcourt 83 defeating Talbot 21. Nice tune-up for Harcourt as well. Denali 31 defeating Carisbrook 26. The upset of the round in many ways, Sammy, and one that's knocked Carisbrook out of the double chance position. We have Royal Park 47 defeating Maryborough Rovers 30, completing a pretty good day for Royal Park with the netball football double. And the last game, Lexton 95 defeating Trentham at 23. Lexton knew they had a top 4 spot to play for and made sure they nailed that one home.
Yeah, Carisbrook.
Excuse me.
Carisbrook would be pretty disappointed after they've had a sort of surprising season, I suppose you'd say, to fall out of that double chance spot. but Lexington will be very happy with themselves.
They will indeed. Let's have a look at the final ladder in the A-grade netball competition. Navarre finished on top with 15 wins for the season. Malden, in third with 13 wins. Natty Bialaba, Malden second with 13 wins. All the coughing, I got myself confused. Natty Bialaba third with 13 wins. Lexington fourth, 12 wins for the season, and Carisbrook falling to fifth with their loss on the weekend. Newstead in sixth with 10 wins. Denali in seventh with 9 wins. Harcourt in eighth with 8 wins. Following them on, Royal Park with 7 wins, just missing out. And then Avoca, Maryborough Rovers, Trentham, Talbot and Campbell's Creek to round out the ladder for the year. But Scotty, let's take a look at this week's netball finals. Start with the first qualifying final out at Princes Park in Maryborough on Saturday afternoon. Navarre taking on Lexington, first versus fourth. Straight away, rematch from last year's grand final.
Yeah, good way to start the finals, Shawnee. Lexington's starting to play some really good netball at the moment too, and Navarre have been good all year. So you'd want to think Navarre really want to get this one in the bag, not just from a winning perspective, but over the side that beat them last year. There'd be a little fire in the belly, I would have thought. So
yeah, correct.
I think they should get over the line. To be honest, they've been good all year.
Very much confidence thing for Navarre this week. It's week one. You don't win premierships in week one of the finals, but you do get extremely important confidence wins. If they can beat Lexington now, they can come up in a grand final knowing that they can beat them.
Yeah, like Scotty said, they went down to Lexington last year in the grand final, and just to knock them off first week of finals would do wonders. So I'm going to go with Navarre.
Second qualifying final at Hedges Oval on Saturday afternoon as well. Malden taking on Natty Bialaba, two sides that have been fantastic all throughout the season. Scott Carey, this one's going to be almost a flip of the coin job, I reckon.
Yeah, I got no idea who'll win this one. Malden have been really good. Natty, they've come within a couple of goals in Navarre throughout the year as well. So I don't know who I'll go with this one. I'll probably lean with Malden.
We know which way Sammy's going.
We
so
know that, so
I
can't have to go Malden, I think. So.
Why Natty winning this, Sam, please?
They're a better side.
Bang! Just hits it straight between the eyes. There's no forward defensives for you. It's 2 steps down the wicket, back over the bowler's head.
Yeah, 6.
Good work. We had the first elimination final on Saturday at Princes Park. Carisbrook taking on Harcourt, and I reckon Carisbrook will come out firing here because they didn't want to be in this position where if they lose, they're out. So they're going to give it everything.
Yeah, absolutely. They have been a good side all year and they have matched it with the top side, so I think they should get over Harcourt comfortably.
Yeah, Scotty said it pretty well there. Carisbrook for me.
The second elimination final, I reckon this is arguably the match of the round this week. On that Sunday, out at Hedges Oval, Newstead taking on Denali. Arguably the two form sides of the league going into the finals. Newstead got within a couple of points of a top 4 team on the weekend. Denali knocked over a top 4 team. We know how dangerous both of these sides are when they're up and firing.
They're pretty similar sides, aren't they? They've both been up and down all year. Good win by Denali on the weekend to keep Carisbrook out of the top 4 spot. So it depends which side turns up for both of them, I think.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
Look, I'm going to go with Denali coming off a good win last week. They'll have a bit of confidence.
Yeah, I'll go with Newstead actually. I think they've just built a nice head of steam going to finals and they'll get the job done.
Could be a little bit behind this game as well. I know Newstead not all that happy with Denali and playing some players earlier in the season that they thought shouldn't have been playing. So could be a little bit of spice in this one as it's going to be a fantastic week of netball to start things off. But before we start talking about next week's games, check out the MCDFNL website at the moment because leading into the to the Barry Powell medal count next week, I'm getting my leagues mixed up there. Leading into the Barry Powell medal count, we have placed on the website the nominations for the MCDFNL Rookie of the Year Award. So have a look over them. Have a look and see who you think will be the best nomination. Of course, clubs submit their nomination, Scotty, 3, 2, 1, with the winner to be announced on Barry Powell Medal Night. And some really good names. I think every club represented, except for, I think, Carisbrook and Rovers in the footy not represented, and everyone in the netball just about.
Yeah, they are. Carisbrook and Rovers just quite didn't have a player that suited the criteria this year, which does happen. So no dramas there, but some really quality footballers. You got someone like a Tommy Horn from Malden who's represented AFL Goldfields up at Cairns, who's had a fantastic year. Jane Folks from Navarre, just quality footballers that have been playing seniors all year. So
Matty Gibbs, Denali, Matty Jukes at Avoca. There's some pretty good names there.
Yeah, I'd be tough to pick, to be honest. I've got no idea who will win that. It could come down to wire. Last year we had had joint winners, and you never could have it again, I think.
And then you look at the netball side of things, and you've got girls like Julie Anderson and Taylor Mason that have represented the league at 17 under level and have been fantastic senior players all year. You've got someone like Avalon Crom that's made a big difference at Malden and helped get them up the ladder this year. So Caitlin LaFranchi, who was the best player for our interleague sides this year and the Simone Mitchell Memorial medalist. So there's some fantastic netballers nominated as well.
Yeah, and they seem to be the kind of players that get you over the line in the final too. They got that bit of excitement and a bit of X factor. The younger girls, same with the footballers as well. So again, be hard to choose a winner out of there.
Do we have a reserves player of the year?
It won't be Sam Gowes if that's what you're referring
That's
to.
what I was just going to see if there's any chance, that's all. Actually, have a look at, speaking of Sam Gowers playing in the reserves, have a look at next week's footy show, because when we introduce Sam, there might be a little bit of overlay work happening as well, just to see how Sammy goes in the red and white. So look forward to that next week. Could be ratings bonanza.
Be a long introduction. There'll be plenty of highlights.
I don't know about that, but let's have a look at this week's footy games, and we'll run through the fixtures for each game, starting with the first qualifying final at Princess Park on Saturday afternoon. The under-12s is Campbell's Creek versus Avoca. The under-15s is Carisbrook versus Avoca. The under-17.5s is Denali versus Carisbrook. The reserves is Carisbrook versus Navarre. But the senior game, boys, Carisbrook versus Lexington, all of the times on the screen at the moment. As we spoke with Matty Brown about before, Sammy, this is going to be a pretty big game, but how do you stop Carisbrook? Is it possible?
I don't think you can. I think Carisbrook, will probably win this. Maybe not quite so easily, but I think they just can't be stopped at the moment.
We've seen finals before, Scotty, where teams are able to slow the memento down and teams that have been on a roll all year suddenly find it that little bit more difficult. I don't think Carisbrook's going to fall into that boat, especially in the first week of a Final 8 system. They've got to win 3 games to win the premiership. They won't get the nerves this week because they'll be up and firing. They've got the big ground to play on at Princess Park as well, and you'd think they'd start as pretty warm favourites.
Yeah, certainly, Sean. And they've got enough experience there that they've gone through it last year, done the same thing, had a win. So brought in a couple of experienced players, or someone like Matty Bilton who's played the BFL finals. They won't have any trouble, I don't think, on the weekend. Could be tight early, but they should break away.
What's your key matchup in this one, Sammy?
Whoever plays on Matt Bilton. Yeah.
Do they go head-to-head with someone like a Damon Asplin and go gun on gun?
I don't know. They're probably different sorts of players, I'd say. Bilton's just that player that can just break a game open in 5 minutes flat. And they might need to say, well, we're just going to go with our own players.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting match on Saturday out at Princess Park. And the second qualifying final, the 2v3 game at Hedges Oval, Royal Park on Saturday afternoon. Under 15s, Trentham taking on Navarre. Under 17.5, Newstead taking on Navarre. Reserves game, Lexington taking on Newstead. And the senior game, Navarre taking on Newstead. And Navarre have been interesting in the last couple of weeks, Scotty, because they've very much taken on a management approach, I reckon. They've rested a couple of players. They've allowed blokes like Daniel Parkin a chance to get some run back in their legs. How they're going to go with... They're going to bring a couple of blokes in this week that haven't played footy in a little bit. The Brent Floods, the guys like that haven't played footy in a couple of weeks. And there's one thing for management, but it's bordering on dangerous when you're playing a side like Newstead that showed last week they've got a couple of tricks up their sleeve.
Yeah, they certainly do. You can flirt with danger there, and obviously in a final, the start's the most probably important thing. And if you bring blokes back in that a bit off their game, haven't played as much footy as they would have liked the last month or so, you wouldn't want to be starting slow. But that being said, they are a good side, and they did touch up Newstead fairly well earlier in the year. So again, same with Carisbrook. They really think they shouldn't have any issues.
If there's a weekend, if there's a game to flirt with a little bit of form in like that, it's this game, Sam. And both teams play again next week. Sure, the prize for the win is going into a preliminary final, and it's a huge, huge carrot. But if you lose, you'll come up against a difficult game next week, but you get the chance to regroup. The only problem is, if they lose this game, they go into the same side of the draw as Carisbrook for a preliminary final.
Yeah, like you said, there's probably a week where you can afford to tinker with your lineup and just try and get things right. That being said, you probably don't want to end up against Carisbrook.
Correct.
Probably want to just
avoid that when you can.
Sleep through in this first round, and I'm going to go with Navarre.
All of the brackets this week. Grab a copy of the MCDFNL Advocate as you walk in the door. We've got the Breaking Down the Finals Race article, as we did last week in there. We've chopped and changed it a little bit to actually reflect the finals race. At the bottom of that, you'll see the finals brackets, all mapped out so you can see if your team wins who they play next week, which side of the draw they go into for the senior footy and the A-grade netball. So get a hold of that. That'll be your Bible as the season reaches its nadir in a few weeks' time. First elimination final, Princes Park on Sunday, Scotty. You'll be all over this one, as you will all weekend. Under 12s, Carisbrook v Maldon. Under 15s, Campbell's Creek v Newstead. Under 17.5, Maldon v Talbot. Reserves, Harcourt v Avoca. Senior game, Harcourt versus Maldon. Maldon in the top 8, courtesy of that last round win. How much confidence do they get from that last round win, knowing that they've been on the nose going into those couple of weeks before, but they had a good win on the weekend. They ran away with it in the end. They allowed themselves to get that confidence up. I reckon, and they come in against a team like Harcourt, who have shown that they can be a bit up and down this year, but if you get Harcourt on their day, they're hard to stop.
Yeah, that's right. A good win for Maldon to sneak in. That bit of confidence probably the last few weeks probably wasn't there, but a bit of feeling of belonging now that they are actually in the finals. They've made it. That's the tough bit over in a sense. They are going to be the underdogs coming in this game. That being said, Harcourt are a good side, and a lot of people think they're going to do a fair bit of damage over the next couple of weeks, and they should get over the line.
They're a side that the teams playing in the qualifying finals this week, Sam, the ones that lose, they won't want to play Harcourt next week.
No, we've said all year that Harcourt's probably our dark horse, and I think they've just got those players, your Matt Gearys, Paul Chaplins, that can just pick the rest of the team up and maybe drag them over the line. So I'm going to go with the Lions.
Let's talk about the second elimination final at Hedges Oval, and we mentioned the A-grade netball second elimination final's got the potential to be one of the matches of the round. I reckon the senior footy game's not too far different, excuse me. Under 12s, we'll see Newstead taking on Trentham. Under 15s, Royal Park versus Natty Bialaba. Under 17.5, Avoca taking on Campbell's Creek. The reserves, Talbot v Natty Bialaba. Sam Gow was playing in that game. Last time he played against Talbot, he got abused for being on the TV as well. So it'll be very interesting to see if you get some verbal in this one on the weekend, Sammy. But the big game, the senior game, Natty Bialaba v Avoca. This is going to be a ripper, Scotty, because both sides in some reasonable nick coming into finals. Natty all consider themselves stiff to not have got a top 4 spot, and Avoca are probably kicking themselves that they're not in the same spot after a slow start. And these are two teams that are going to really come to the line hard on Saturday.
Yeah, I think this is probably the closest matchup of the weekend, Shawnee. And like you said, both are playing decent footy. I got no idea, really. I know who Sammy will go in with, as he has done all year, but...
And I'm going to abstain because I'm going to this game, so I don't want to get clubbed from members from either side.
No, that's a bit of a danger, Shawnee.
Yeah.
But I think I'll stick with Natty as well. I think probably just got a bit more class in Avoca just to get over the line. That's probably about all the difference is.
Reasonable sized ground, Hedges Oval. Weather should be okay. Why are Natty going to win this?
I can't really tell you. I just hope like hell that they do. I do know this will probably have a little bit of spice in it. Arch rivals, long-time rivals, and even your regular season games are games you'll want to win against Avoca if you're from Natty and vice versa. So yeah, everything will be on the line in this one. Yeah,
it's going to be an absolute ripper. We can't wait. And this game as well, Scotty, we're going to film this one. So if you missed this on Sunday, if you're going over to Harcourt Maldon, but you really want to see Natty versus Avoca, jump onto the MCDFNL website next Monday and it'll be up there for you to watch.
And hopefully you're the side that wants to watch it Monday and don't want to see it ever again. So
correct. We will be filming one game each weekend for the finals going into the end of the year. So we'll have the preliminary final, we'll have the grand final, we'll have one of the semi-finals as well.
Yeah, that's right. And we're also going to be doing the live scores for all the senior games this year, Shawnee. So you can jump on, grab the app off iTunes store and off the Google store as well.
Yep.
I think it's on the Android. So if you can't get to the ground, hopefully you can, but you'll be able to follow all the senior scores.
Jump on the website, have a look in the Advocate, all the details will be on there. Probably tomorrow, we'll have it up there Friday, so it's nice and fresh for everybody in their memory. Don't forget you can listen to games live all weekend as well. 3WMA is going to be all over it. I think they're at Princes Park all throughout the final series. So they'll have Carisbrook Lexington on that Saturday. They'll have Harcourt Maldon on Sunday. Fresh FM will also be doing a good job as well. We'll have some links up on the website so that you can listen to them no matter where you are throughout the world as well. It's going to be a pretty exciting time.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good coverage of the finals this year, and we do have a good final series coming up, so I'd well deserved, I'd say.
We do indeed, boys. We're going to let you rest because you've both got very big weekends coming up. Firstly, you, Scott Carey, who has to organise the whole thing. You've got to be in four places over 2 days. Mate, best of luck for everything this weekend.
Thanks, Sean. Should be a good weekend, mate.
Should be. And Sammy, best of luck for yourself, mate. I can't wait to get out there and watch you play on Saturday. It's going to be the highlight of my day. I'm going to have the video camera there, so there's going to be some action stuff of you on next week's show. Good luck with it.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
No problems at all. I cannot wait. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome weekend of football and netball action as well. We can't wait to see you around and about at the MCDFNL final series. We'll be back next Thursday looking at the finals in more detail. Until then, see you later.